All right, guys, welcome back. So in this tutorial, we're going to talk about counting measures, aka bars, right? We're also going to talk about tempo and BPMs. By the way, BPM stands for beats per minute. And we'll go a little bit into that as we go on. Let's get back into Logic. So again, BPM stands for beats per minute. Now let's go up to the display in Logic. Right here, right? Actually, let's go to the drop down. Let's go to custom. And now let's go to tempo. So if I were to say to you, hey, what's the BPMs of your song? I'm asking you for tempo. So you need to make sure that you take tempo and BPM and relate them, because they are related. All right. So let's go to tempo and let's change the tempo to, say, we're going to double click on 120 and we're going to make this 115. So that's our tempo. All right. BPMs is going to be how many beats in 1 minute. So there's going to be 115 beats in 1 minute. If you had a 4-minute song and you needed to know how many beats are in the entire song, then you would do 115 times 4. That's how many beats are in that song. Pretty cool. A little bit of math, but still pretty cool. All right, so in this tutorial, we're going to be talking about how to count measures. Some of you call them bars. Measures, bars, same exact thing. Measures refer to a single unit of time featuring a specific number of beats played at a particular tempo. Okay, so I know that was a mouthful, but here we go. Let's get into it. So measure 2, right? We talked earlier about time signatures and how visibly, if you're visibly looking at the ruler in the grid, you can tell visibly where the beats are, right? The tall line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, because this is a 4/4 time signature, right? Now, if we wanted to count measures, that's a completely different monster, and let's get into that right now. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna actually make this 2 bars, right? That's 2 bars. So measure 2 and measure 3. We're gonna listen to this, and like I explained in the last tutorial, the beginning of each bar is the downbeat. Now we're gonna listen. And when you listen, you're gonna notice that the downbeat has a different pitch than the other beats in the bar. Okay, let's see if we can make that make sense. Let's listen. You'll notice you'll hear a tick, 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 tick when those higher pitched clicks indicate the beginning of the next bar. Okay, so here's 2 bars. Let's listen. That was 2 bars, obviously, because you heard 2 high-pitched clicks. And at some point, you're going to have to prove to me that you understand this by not being able to look at this, and you're going to have to be able to count the bars by clicks. All right, so let's look at this from just measure 2. So the way this works is, if we were starting at, or let's go to measure 1, actually. So if we go to measure 1, right? So measure 1, then 2, 3, 4, and then measure 2. Trying to find a way to explain this to you where it makes the most sense, and this is kind of what I came up with. So measure 1, right? So the first beat is the downbeat. So think of it this way: measure 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, and then measure 2. Then beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, and then measure 3, right? Because again, we're on a 4/4. So let's take this back to measure 1. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Okay. So the way you would count one measure or 1 bar is like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. That's easy, right? Of course that's easy. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, measure 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. And actually, I'm going to zoom in more. So if you zoom in more, this actually solidifies what I'm saying, or it makes it more clear. So again, if you look up here in the numbers, right? 1, and then you go to the next tall grid line or ruler line, and it's gonna be 2. See, 1, 2, and then when you go to the next tall one, 1, 3. So again, measure 1, beat 3. And then the fourth tall line will be 1, 4. That's not saying 12, 13, 14. That's saying 1, measure 1, beat 2, measure 1, beat 3, measure 1, beat 4. Now let's go over to measure 2. Look what happens here. Same thing. Measure. See these? I love this. I love that they thought to do this. Okay, so measure 2. And then measure 2, beat 2. Measure 2, beat 3. Measure 2, beat 4, and so on and so forth, right? So let's count 4 bars, because this is where sometimes things get a little tricky for some people. Okay, so we're gonna count 4 bars. See, 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4. I'm gonna count through these 4 bars, and you're just gonna listen. Okay, look, this is how it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4. So that's how you count bars. Some of you are like, oh yeah, this is cool. Some of you are like, what in the world is this? So here's another way to look at it. Measure 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. Measure 2, beat 2, beat 3. Obviously, that's a pain in the behind way to do it. I'm going to slow this tempo down a little bit. Let's take it down to 100. Take your tempo down to 100 as well. And this time I want you to close your eyes. I'm actually going to black this out. And I'm going to play a certain amount of bars. And I want you to tell me if I want you to count the bars and see if you got them right. Okay, here we go. Were you able to count the bars? It was 3 bars, by the way. If we go to the time signature and we make this a 3-4, you're gonna have to change this again. You should be doing this as well. Change it to a 3-4. Now look what happens now. So let's just count 2 bars, right? Watch what happens. Remember, it's 3 beats for a measure now. So watch this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, right? Because you're counting beats. If I zoom in again, you're gonna see up here on the ruler 1, 2, 3, and then the next measure, or measure 1, measure 1, beat 2, measure 1, beat 3, and then next measure. Right, so let's do this again. Close your eyes. See if you can figure out how many bars we play. Okay, so listen to the click, count. How many bars was that? That was 5 bars in the time signature of 3-4. Let's do a trickier one. Let's do 5-4. Again, we're gonna change the project time signature, and let's go back to just 2 bars. Look what happens now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get what, hopefully you get what I'm saying. We're also going to talk about this ad nauseum in class, so this should all make sense. Obviously, you're not just going to watch this tutorial. I'm going to talk about it in class. Last one, I want to go to a 2-4. And again, we're going to change the time signature. And let's make this 4 bars. Now look, I'm not going to count these with you. I want you to close your eyes. I'm not going to count these with you. I'm just going to play a certain amount of bars, and I want to see if you can figure out how many bars I played. Here we go. How many bars was that? That was 7 bars of 2-4. But again, remember, downbeat is high pitched, and then the rest are just beats. So look, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. If you needed a visual representation, again, you could just look up here at the ruler and you would see it. Okay, so guys, listen, I hope that makes sense. Between the tutorials and between all of the conversations and everything we're going to have in class, you should be able to understand this. If you do not understand this after all of the lecturing and the tutorials and all this stuff, please come talk to me, guys. Do not let this just sit and fester. Don't quit. Don't fall asleep. Don't put your head down and just stop working. Come see me so that I can help you connect these dots, because this is extremely important to you being able to produce music and make beats and write music and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, guys, congratulations, and we're moving on.